Have you ever looked around and asked yourself one simple question? If working hard is the key to becoming rich, why are some of the hardest working people in the world still struggling financially? Think about it. Construction workers, nurses, factory workers, truck drivers, farmers. Many of them wake up before sunrise, work 10 or even 12 hours a day, go home exhausted, and repeat the same routine for decades. Yet many never become financially free. At the same time, someone sitting behind a laptop, someone who owns a business, or someone who invested in the right assets can earn more money in a single day than another person earns in an entire month. How is that possible? Were we taught the wrong definition of hard work? Or has the world quietly changed while most people were still following yesterday's rules? Hello, I'm Adrian Vale, and welcome to Nexoryth. If you're interested in understanding money, business, psychology, economics, and the hidden systems shaping modern life, make sure to subscribe now, because every week we uncover ideas that challenge conventional thinking and help you see the world through a completely different lens. And I highly encourage you to stay until the very end of this video, because the final lesson isn't just about money. It may completely change the way you think about work, success, and the future you're building for yourself. Today, we're going to answer a question that millions of people ask every day. Why does it feel like we're working harder than ever, yet getting further away from real wealth? The answer has very little to do with laziness, and much more to do with understanding how the modern economy actually rewards people. Because somewhere along the way, working hard stopped being enough. The real question is, what replaced it? The biggest lie we were ever told about success. Let me ask you something. When you were growing up, what was the advice you heard over and over again? Study hard, work hard, get a good job, and everything will work out. For decades, that advice actually made sense. There was a time when working hard was often enough to build a comfortable life. A stable job could buy a house, support a family, pay for your children's education, and still leave enough to save for retirement. Hard work and financial security were closely connected. But somewhere along the way, that connection began to break. Today, millions of people are doing exactly what society told them to do. They wake up early, they work long hours, they stay loyal to their companies, they sacrifice weekends, they answer emails late at night, they rarely take vacations. And yet, at the end of the month, they're still asking the same question. Where did all my money go? This isn't because people suddenly became lazy. In many ways, people are working harder than ever before. The difference is that the economy changed, but the advice didn't. And that's one of the biggest reasons so many people feel frustrated today. We're still using a map that was designed for a completely different world. Think about it. Imagine someone working 60 hours every week. Now imagine another person who owns a small software company. The first person may work 3 times harder physically, but the second person's income can continue growing even while they're asleep. That doesn't mean hard work has no value. It means hard work by itself is no longer the highest paid activity. Today, the economy rewards something else: ownership, leverage, scalability. If you own a business, your effort can reach thousands of customers. If you own investments, your money can begin producing more money. If you create a digital product, you can sell it repeatedly without starting from zero every morning. But if the only thing you sell is your time, your income will always have a ceiling, because there are only 24 hours in a day. That's one of the biggest shifts in modern economics. People used to trade time for stability. Today, many people trade time just to survive, and survival leaves very little room for building wealth. Now, don't misunderstand me. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having a job. Jobs create income. Income creates opportunities. Many successful entrepreneurs started as employees. Many investors started with regular salaries. The problem isn't having a job. The problem is believing that a salary alone will eventually create financial freedom. For some people, it might, but for most people, a salary keeps life moving. Assets change life. That's a difficult truth to hear, but it's an important one. Because the wealthiest people in the world rarely become wealthy simply because they worked longer hours than everyone else. They built or owned something that continued creating value long after the work was done. And that's the lesson schools rarely teach. They teach people how to earn money, but very few teach people how to make money work for them. There's a huge difference. One depends entirely on your presence. The other continues even when you're not actively working. And once you understand that difference, you stop asking, how can I work more? Instead, you begin asking, how can I create something that continues producing value? That single question has changed more financial lives than almost any piece of traditional career advice. Because working hard is still important, but today, what you work on may matter even more than how hard you work. And that's where the real conversation begins. The moment time stopped being enough. Here's an idea that completely changed the way I think about money. Not all work is created equal. That might sound unfair, but it's true. Imagine two people. The first is a skilled electrician. He works incredibly hard. Every dollar he earns depends on one thing: his time. If he gets sick, his income stops. If he takes a vacation, his income stops. If he decides to work fewer hours, his income drops immediately. Now imagine someone who spent 2 years creating a software application. Those first 2 years were difficult. Long nights, constant problem solving, no guarantee of success. But once the product was finished, something interesting happened. People could buy it while its creator was sleeping, while traveling, while spending time with family. The same product could be sold to 10 people or 10 million people without starting from zero every morning. Do you see the difference? The first person is selling effort. The second person is selling value that can scale. And that's one of the biggest differences between the old economy and the modern economy. Today, technology rewards scalability. One video can reach millions. One book can be sold worldwide. One app can be downloaded by people you've never met. One business can serve customers 24 hours a day. The internet changed one simple rule. You no longer have to be physically present to create value. And yet, millions of people still believe the only way to earn more is to work more. That's exactly what keeps them trapped. Because eventually, every human reaches a limit. You can only work so many hours. You can only take so many extra shifts. You can only sacrifice so much sleep. But scalable value doesn't have those limits. Now, here's something that most people never think about. Ask yourself this question. If you stopped working for 6 months, would any money continue coming in? For many people, the answer is no, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it reveals something important. It means their entire financial life depends on constantly trading time for money. That's one of the most fragile financial positions a person can be in, because life is unpredictable. People lose jobs, companies close, industries change, technology replaces certain roles, economic recessions happen. If your only source of income depends on your daily presence, your financial future becomes much more vulnerable. The people who build lasting wealth often spend years reducing that dependence. They don't necessarily quit their jobs immediately. They don't magically become rich overnight. Instead, they slowly build additional sources of value. Some invest, some build businesses, some create digital products, some buy assets. Some develop skills that allow them to earn in different ways. The important point isn't which path they choose. The important point is that they stop depending on only one path. And that's a mindset shift more than anything else. Because once you realize your time has limits, you stop asking, how can I work harder? And you begin asking, how can I become more valuable? Those are two completely different questions. Working harder usually increases effort. Becoming more valuable often increases opportunity. Companies don't pay people based only on how exhausted they are. They pay based on the value they create. That's why a software engineer can sometimes earn more than someone performing physically demanding work. Not because one works harder than the other, but because the market values their skills differently. This isn't about fairness. It's about understanding how the modern economy works. And once you understand that, you stop taking it personally. Instead of feeling frustrated, you become curious. You begin asking better questions. What skills are becoming more valuable? What industries are growing? What problems are people willing to pay to solve? Because wealth often follows value, not effort alone. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. Hard work is still important. In fact, without hard work, very few people achieve anything meaningful. But today, hard work needs direction. Because running faster only helps if you're running toward the right destination. Otherwise, you're simply becoming exhausted more efficiently. And perhaps that's why so many people feel stuck. They're working incredibly hard, but they're climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. The goal isn't to stop working hard. The goal is to make sure your hard work is building something that continues creating value long after today's work is finished. The hidden trap of trading time for money. There's another idea that most people never hear, and once you understand it, it's very difficult to look at your career the same way again. Most people believe they're paid for their time, but that's only partially true. What they're really paid for is the value they create during that time, and those two things are very different. Imagine someone digging a hole with a shovel. He works incredibly hard for 8 hours. Now imagine someone using a modern machine that finishes the same job in 30 minutes. Who worked harder? Probably the first person. Who created more value? Probably the second. The modern economy doesn't always reward effort. It rewards efficiency. It rewards results. It rewards leverage. And that's why technology has completely changed the rules of wealth. Think about a YouTube creator. One video might take 3 days to produce, 3 long days of writing, filming, editing, and improving every detail. But once it's published, that same video can continue generating views, income, and opportunities for years. Now, compare that to someone who gets paid by the hour. Every morning they start from zero. Every week they start from zero. Every month they start from zero. They've built income, but they haven't necessarily built leverage. That's one of the biggest differences between earning money and creating wealth. Wealth often comes from building things that continue creating value after you've stopped working on them. That's why successful businesses become so powerful. A business owner doesn't only earn from today's work. They earn from systems, processes, teams, customers returning again and again. The business becomes something bigger than one person's daily effort. And honestly, I think that's one of the biggest mindset shifts people need today. Instead of asking, how much can I earn this month? Ask, what am I building that will still have value 5 years from now? Because those questions lead to completely different lives. One focuses on survival. The other focuses on ownership. And ownership changes everything. Ownership gives you options. Ownership gives you flexibility. Ownership gives you freedom. Now, here's something I wish more people understood earlier. Building leverage doesn't always require millions of dollars. Sometimes it starts with a skill. Learning how to write, learning how to sell, learning how to communicate, learning how to solve valuable problems. Those skills don't disappear when you change jobs. Nobody can take them away from you. And the more valuable your skills become, the less your income depends on simply working longer hours. That's why investing in yourself often produces the highest return of all. Not because it's easy, but because your knowledge compounds, your experience compounds, your reputation compounds. Your relationships compound, just like money. And here's the interesting part. Compounding doesn't only exist in investing, it exists in almost everything. Small improvements repeated consistently become extraordinary over time. Reading one book probably won't change your life. Reading 100 books might. Saving $50 won't make you wealthy. Saving and investing consistently for years can completely change your financial future. Improving 1% every day doesn't feel impressive until you look back 5 years later. That's why wealthy people often become obsessed with long-term thinking, because they understand something most people ignore. Small decisions repeated for years are far more powerful than dramatic decisions made once. Unfortunately, modern culture teaches the opposite. It celebrates overnight success, instant wealth, quick wins, viral moments. But behind almost every so-called overnight success, there are years of invisible work. Years of learning, years of failure, years of improvement that nobody ever saw. That's the part social media rarely shows. And that's why so many people become discouraged. They compare someone else's highlight reel to their own daily reality. But wealth doesn't care about appearances. It responds to consistency. It responds to patience. It responds to people who keep building, even when nobody is watching. Maybe that's why so many financially successful people appear ordinary. They don't spend all their energy looking successful. They spend it becoming valuable. Because deep down, they understand something incredibly important. Money follows value much more consistently than it follows effort. And once you truly understand that, your focus changes completely. You stop chasing every opportunity that promises quick money. You start building skills, building assets, building relationships, building trust, building systems, building processes. Because those things continue paying you long after today's work is finished. And maybe that's the biggest mistake our generation makes. We've become obsessed with making money quickly, instead of becoming the kind of person who creates value consistently. Those are not the same thing. One creates temporary income. The other creates lasting wealth. And the people who understand that difference are often the ones who quietly build the future everyone else wishes they had. The choice that changes everything. So let's come back to the question we asked at the beginning. If working hard is no longer enough, what should people do instead? The answer isn't to stop working hard. That would be the wrong lesson. Hard work still matters. In fact, I don't believe anyone builds something meaningful without it. The real lesson is this: hard work must have direction, because effort without strategy is just exhaustion. And I think that's where so many people get stuck. They're incredibly disciplined. They wake up early, they stay late, they do everything they're supposed to do. But nobody ever taught them to stop once in a while and ask a simple question. Is the life I'm building actually taking me where I want to go? That's a difficult question, because sometimes the honest answer is no. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not talented, but because you've been climbing the wrong mountain. And the higher you climb, the harder it becomes to admit you're on the wrong path. That's why so many people stay in situations that no longer serve them. Not because they enjoy them, because changing direction feels risky. But here's something I've learned. Doing the same thing for the next 10 years and expecting a completely different financial result is probably the biggest financial risk of all. The world is changing faster than ever. Technology is changing, businesses are changing, the economy is changing, the skills companies value are changing. And maybe the way we think about work has to change too. Because today, your greatest investment isn't your paycheck. It's your ability to adapt, to learn, to improve, to solve bigger problems, to create more value than you created yesterday. The people who continue learning usually continue growing. The people who stop learning often wonder why life seems to move ahead without them. And that's not meant to discourage you. It's actually the opposite, because it means your future isn't decided only by where you are today. It's influenced by who you're becoming. every new skill you learn, every valuable relationship you build, every book you read, every mistake you learn from, every problem you solve, you're quietly increasing your value. And value has a strange way of attracting opportunity. Not immediately, not magically, but consistently. So instead of asking, how can I make more money this year? Maybe start asking, how can I become more valuable this year? That single shift in thinking changed my perspective completely. Because money is usually the reward. Value is the cause. Most people spend their lives chasing the reward. Very few spend their lives improving the cause. And those are often the people who quietly build extraordinary lives. So if you remember only one sentence from this entire video, let it be this. Working hard can earn you a living. Building value can create wealth. There's a big difference. One depends on today's effort. The other continues creating opportunities long into the future. And maybe that's why some people never seem to escape the cycle, while others slowly build freedom year after year. Not because they worked harder, but because they eventually learned where to put their hard work. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more conversations about money, business, psychology, and the hidden systems shaping modern life, make sure to subscribe to Nexoryth. And before you leave, I'd like to hear your opinion. Do you believe success today is determined more by hard work or by creating value? Leave your answer in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see what you think. Thank you for watching. And remember, don't just work harder, work smarter. Work with intention, because in today's world, that can make all the difference.